When we talk about the Terminator universe, we immediately think of unstoppable machines and devastated futures. However, few people know about the incredible progression of T models that Skynet designed to perfect its robotic soldiers and infiltrators. What began as clumsy prototypes, incapable of fooling anyone, quickly evolved into cybernetic organisms almost indistinguishable from real people. In this video, we'll take a journey through each of the T-Series models, from the oldest and least mentioned to the most iconic and superhumanly powerful. I'm sure you'll be surprised by the huge variety of models, abilities, and technological upgrades that Skynet has implemented. Let's begin this video with one of the least known models that, curiously, marks a before and after in Terminator history, the T000, also called 000. Although not very popular, this model plays a crucial role as the foundational link in the development of Skynet's machines. According to comic books and expanded materials, the T000 was an early experiment, created long before the concept of infiltration using synthetic skin was even considered. It consisted of an unrefined metal chassis with very basic intelligence and lacking the sturdiness of later series. Its crude design and limited autonomy made it a disposable military drone that Skynet could fully control without granting it much decision-making capacity. This kept production costs low and enabled mass manufacturing, but also made them extremely fragile. The T000's main purpose was to carry out simple tasks, clearing rebel, piling up corpses on the battlefield, and other cleanup duties that didn't require an advanced CPU. Its mechanical strength was reasonable, but its mobility and sensors were very limited, making it an easy target for the resistance. Nevertheless, the T000 laid the first stone in the evolution of what would later become true combat and infiltration machines. If the T000 was merely a disposable prototype, the T1 marked the true beginning of the Terminator series as a combat force. It was the first mass-produced machine with a functional military design, developed by Cyber Research Systems and, in some alternate timelines, partially based on Cyberdyne patents. Also known as the T1 ground assault vehicle, this robot was conceived for a single purpose: to wipe out enemies on the battlefield with brutal and efficient firepower. Unlike later humanoid models, the T1 wasn't designed to blend in with the population, but to deploy overwhelming firepower as quickly as possible. That's why it doesn't have a traditional bipedal endoskeleton. Instead, it moves using multiple tank-like treads that give it traction and maneuverability across rubble, snow, or uneven terrain. When fully upright, the T1 can reach about 7.87 feet in height, making it an imposing presence in combat. Its weaknesses, however, are quite evident. It exposes a large portion of its motors and hydraulic systems on top of the treads, making it vulnerable to side attacks. Its optical sensor is relatively rudimentary, meaning the T1 can lose sight of targets that camouflage themselves or remain still near stronger heat sources. In the Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines timeline, the first T1 units are activated at the Cyber Research Systems base on Judgment Day, reprogrammed by the TX to massacre the human staff. These are identical, numbered units, each equipped with rotary machine guns capable of annihilating entire squads in seconds. Later, they continue to appear in the future war, although they are limited to surveillance functions in large, easily accessible facilities. In the Terminator Salvation timeline, the T1 line evolves slightly with a more armored body and sensors grouped into two eyes on either side of the head. They remain drastically less sophisticated than the infiltrator models, but they are still highly dangerous in open environments, where the speed of their treads and their heavy weapons give them a clear advantage. After the T1 comes the mysterious T4, a model mentioned only in the novel Terminator Salvation from the Ashes. This ground combat tank, considered a variant of the HK tank, was deployed by Skynet during the future war. Although not much is revealed about its design or functions, it is believed that the T4 may be an evolution of the T1 or an intermediate model before the more advanced hunter-killers. Its existence suggests that Skynet continued refining its ground units to create increasingly lethal war machines. Continuing with Skynet's tank-type models, we have the T7T, nicknamed Tetrapod, or simply Spider by the Resistance. This quadrupedal model was designed as a hunter-killer unit specialized in defending key strategic locations. With an upper body resembling a crab, 4 articulated legs, and 2 machine guns as arms. The T-70 is a mobile and difficult threat to face. It often patrols alongside a swarm of small aerostat drones that reinforce its aerial surveillance. Despite its heavy armor, it has weak points. It can be temporarily disabled by shooting its front red eye, or destroyed by attacking its batteries from the rear. Its presence in video games, in the Terminator, Salvation, Machinima series, cements it as one of the most versatile ground tank units in Skynet's arsenal. Moving from the imposing T-70 to a more utilitarian model, we have the T20, or Technobot. Unlike its predecessors, the T20 is a service robot originally developed by Cyberdyne Systems and later adapted by Skynet. With a humanoid form and specialized hands, these models are designed for technical tasks and high-precision maintenance, especially within server rooms, logistical trains, and control centers. Although not programmed for combat, their security system can detect and alert against any suspicious activity targeting Skynet. Mounted on wheels instead of feet, the T20 is more efficient for indoor movement, and its design has remained virtually unchanged since before Judgment Day. Its harmless appearance can be deceiving, as any hostile movement can trigger a swift, automated security response. Shifting to a more combat-oriented model, we encounter a true machine of destruction, the T-47. This colossal bipedal Terminator is one of the most fearsome heavy assault models deployed by Skynet during the Future War. Armed with shoulder-mounted rocket launchers and rotary machine guns on its arms, the T-47 is an unstoppable firepower platform built for direct confrontation. Although slow in movement, it has an unexpected ability. It can launch itself into the air like a massive mechanical grasshopper, covering surprising distances and catching enemies off guard. Its armor is so tough that it can withstand direct hits from plasma weapons, and only the most powerful explosives can bring it down. But that's not all. There is an even more terrifying variant known as the T-47 Plasma, equipped with reinforced armor and plasma cannons instead of machine guns. This version is tougher and deadlier, becoming a true walking war tank. These models were frequently seen during the final years of the war, leading devastating confrontations against the resistance in areas like Los Angeles and Pasadena. Their very presence on the battlefield was enough to spread chaos. Following the imposing T-47 and its plasma variant, we come to a model that marked a key turning point in Terminator evolution: the T-70. This was the first model with a fully humanoid shape, created as an automated infantry unit for close-quarters combat. Designed by Cyberdyne Systems in 1996, the T-70 was an intimidating robot standing over 8.2 feet tall, armed with a Gatling gun equipped with a laser motion tracker. Its main role was to serve as a basic battlefield soldier. While still primitive, its humanoid form foreshadowed the development of future infiltrator models like the T-800. In the Salvation timeline, these models were mass-produced by Skynet and deployed in 2015 during direct confrontations with the Resistance. Additionally, in an alternate line from the Terminator RPG, Skynet 2.0 upgraded the T-70 with segmented hyperalloy armor and new combat protocols. This made the T-70 a key piece in Skynet's technological evolution, representing the shift from purely mechanical machines to Terminators capable of mimicking human form. After the T-70, we arrive at Model T-72, also known by the nickname given by the Resistance, Spider Dog. This peculiar name is no coincidence, as the T-72 is a quadrupedal platform with an animal-like shape resembling a mix between a spider and a robotic dog. It was designed by Skynet as a fast and adaptable assault unit. This model is equipped with a plasma cannon, but can also be configured with a flamethrower or even a missile launcher, making it a versatile and lethal threat across various types of terrain. Although it lacks high intelligence, its speed, low profile, and firepower make it ideal for patrols, ambushes, and perimeter control. The T-72 debuted in the Terminator Genesis Expanded Universe, especially in the board game and spin-offs like Rise of the Resistance and Fall of Skynet, where it's described as one of the fastest and most surprising hunters in Skynet's arsenal. Leaving behind the quadrupedal models, we return to humanoid forms with the T-300, one of the most primitive Terminator prototypes developed by Cyberdyne Systems before Judgment Day. This model was originally introduced in the interactive attraction Terminator 5D. and it's characterized by its bulky and somewhat crude design, a large, heavy body, exposed metallic limbs, and a head resembling a gas mask. Although it didn't have sophisticated intelligence, it was armed with a rifle mounted on its right arm and spinning lights that served as target markers. In the attraction storyline, the T300 was controlled directly by a virtual incarnation of Skynet to eliminate John and Sarah Connor. While limited to the theme park universe, the T300 represents an important link between Skynet's early humanoid combat machine experiments and the more refined models that would follow. Following the same path as the T300, we come to the T400, one of Skynet's first serious attempts at mass-producing humanoid Terminators. Nicknamed Clanker, or Faker by the Resistance, the T400 was created in 2005 as a robust yet rudimentary model, built from cheap materials like regular steel instead of advanced alloys. Although it was physically very strong, capable of lifting over 1,000 pounds and smashing through concrete walls, its slow speed, loud movements, invisible sensors made it easy to detect and destroy. Its crude design and primitive tech made it completely unsuitable for effective infiltration. Despite these limitations, Skynet used it extensively in the early phases of the war to capture humans and guard prisoner camps. Over time, with the arrival of more advanced models, the T400 was relegated to distraction or sacrificial roles on the battlefield, while the true assassins took position. These models appear in the PlayStation 2 video game Terminator Dawn of Fate and are mentioned in other games and novels. After the operational decline of the T400, Skynet took a significant leap forward with the creation of the T500, also known as the Series 500 Armored Battle Chassis Unit by Cyberdyne Systems. This model was a true advancement in durability and lethality. It was far more resilient than its predecessors, and its weaponry was fully synchronized with a target acquisition intelligence system, making it an extremely dangerous threat. It was deployed as Skynet's preferred frontline soldier in the year 2027, according to the Terminator Dawn of Fate timeline and the Terminator RPG, just before the AI fully shifted to relying on titanium hyperalloy models like the T800. In fact, the design of the T500 shares similarities with earlier models like the T70, and its chest armor directly influenced the later design of the T800 seen in Genesis. Thus, this model marked the end of an era in the evolution of heavy humanoid Terminators. After the T500, Skynet introduced the brutal and feared T600, one of its first serious attempts at creating humanoid Terminators capable of infiltrating human populations. This model was mass-produced beginning in 2011 in the original timeline and 2016 in the Salvation timeline. It was the first to feature a titanium alloy endoskeleton covered in synthetic latex skin, which earned it the nickname Rubber Skin among Resistance fighters. The T600 was massive, clumsy, and loud, making it easily detectable, but it was also incredibly durable and lethal in combat. Its physical strength allowed it to lift 5 times its own weight, smash through concrete, and wield miniguns or grenade launchers. However, its poor mimicry and exposed joints made it vulnerable, prompting Skynet to experiment with further improvements. This led to the creation of the T650, a slight evolution of the T600 designed to enhance its infiltration capabilities. This model retained the same structure, but included minor upgrades in its outer covering and behavioral programming. It could imitate human voices, allowing it to lure soldiers more effectively, for example by pretending to be an injured child. Despite these improvements, the T650 still failed to convincingly deceive the Resistance for long, leading Skynet to reassign them to frontline combat roles. This model appears in the Terminator Resistance video game, specifically in the DLC Annihilation line. Following the formidable T650, the evolution of the Terminators continued with one of the most important models in the transition toward effective infiltration units, the T700. This model represented a major technological leap, being the first to incorporate living tissue as an outer covering. This allowed it to fool thermal sensors and appear human to the naked eye. Although its cognitive functions were still limited and its behavior robotic, the T700 was vital for short-range missions and rapid infiltration operations. Because dogs could still detect these infiltrators, the Resistance nicknamed them dog killers. They were mass-produced starting in 2018 in the Salvation timeline and are also mentioned in the original timeline. From this model came variants such as the T720, developed in the Genesis timeline. This upgraded version featured a more robust armor and carried heavy weaponry. It was often seen accompanying squads of multiple T800 units. Its torso, illuminated in red, made it visually distinctive on the battlefield and a feared threat to the Resistance. But perhaps the most curious model of this stage was the T799, an experimental prototype named Eve, created in 2026 in the original timeline. This female model was not only the first cyborg capable of interpreting human emotions and adapting tactically, but also the direct precursor to the legendary T800. Although less fast and intelligent, the T799 featured regenerative living tissue and could maintain a constant speed of about 20 miles per hour over long distances. Its design was so significant that Skynet retained it as a separate model in honor of its performance. At last, we arrived at the legendary T800, the pinnacle of Skynet's design in the original timeline. This was the first successful Terminator to use living tissue over a hyperalloy endoskeleton, which allowed for nearly perfect infiltration into human territory. Equipped with a neural processor, the famous learning computer, the T800 could assimilate data and improve its capabilities over time, becoming the foundation for future variants. Its durability, strength, and adaptability made it the ultimate infiltrator in the war against the Resistance. Later in the Terminator Salvation timeline, the T-RIP appeared. This was a prototype T800 built in 2018, before the mass production of these models. It had a chassis almost identical to the T800, but included some experimental features. With an emphasis on brute strength and enhanced durability, it was more directly controlled by Skynet and lacked the full autonomy that would later be standard in the T800. Taking evolution a step further, the T800-1 is mentioned as a heavy combat version of the T800. Skynet designed this model for direct confrontations, sacrificing infiltration subtlety in exchange for more firepower and reinforced armor. For this reason, the T800-1 has been referred to as a heavy combat unit in some stories and is rumored to have built-in or dual-integrated weaponry. These models appear in the 1992 video game The Terminator 2029. In another infiltration experiment, Skynet developed the T800-3, nicknamed the Light Terminatrix. Its uniqueness lay in being a T800 with a female appearance to approach targets who might lower their guard around someone with a different physique. Although it retained the strength and durability of the Series 800, it was designed with a slimmer frame and close combat capabilities, including retractable claws, as seen in the Terminator collectible card game. Also from the same card game came the T800-4, nicknamed Marine. This model was programmed with sniper abilities and optimized for amphibious operations or environments with high humidity. Despite sharing the T800 endoskeleton, the T800-4 had a corrosion-resistant coating and sensors adapted for low visibility. It was perfect for coastal ambushes and infiltration missions in swampy or water-covered areas. Then, Skynet conceived the T806, an infiltration model designed to pass as a child or teenager, with the purpose of psychologically disarming the Resistance. Although its strength was not significantly reduced, since it was still a Series 800 Terminator, its youthful appearance allowed it to infiltrate unsuspecting human groups and use this child form to gather intelligence, and, when the time was right, eliminate its targets without warning. This model also appears in the Terminator collectible card game. On the other hand, in the same card game, the T808 appears with two notable variations depending on the source. In one version, it is a medium assault model with a reinforced endoskeleton, capable of becoming more ferocious as it takes damage. In the Terminator Resistance timeline, another T808 is described as being equipped with flamethrowers, with vulnerable fuel tanks on its back that are easy to explode when attacked from behind. Another model seen in the card game, but also appearing in the mobile video game Terminator Genesis Future War, is the T810, sometimes called Eraser or Advanced Stealth Unit. This Terminator had a holographic matrix for cloaking and exceptional marksmanship thanks to a sniper skill package. It was designed for long-range infiltration and functioned independently. Returning to the Terminator resistance game, we encounter the T820, introduced around 2029 and equipped with a Violet V96 plasma rifle. Better armored than a standard T800, the T820 could crouch in narrow passages and adapt better to close or mid-range combat, acting as an intermediate step toward heavier variants. Later in the same resistance timeline, Skynet deployed the T825, a dual-weapon model armed with two R95 plasma rifles. Its variant, the T825V, arrived a year later, equipped with more powerful V96 rifles. Both were designed to increase a Terminator's firepower, attacking with devastating force. Although they retain the basic T800 frame, these models emphasize a suppression unit role on the battlefield. Similarly, returning to the card game, the T831 is mentioned. It is described as a heavy combat chassis within the 800 series. In addition to greater durability, the T831 carried long-range weapons, fulfilling the role of an armored sniper unit for Skynet. Some consider it even more threatening than certain hunter-killers, as it combines bipedal mobility with heavy assault firepower. Back in the mobile game, there's the T833, presented as an upgrade of the T810 in the Terminator Genesis Future War universe. Known by the nickname Judge, this unit was ranked as level 2 or 3 infantry within Skynet's hierarchy. It focused on more coordinated and powerful attacks, with its own distinctive brand of advanced plasma weaponry. Moving to a non-bipedal model, the T835, sometimes called Centaur, combined the torso of a T800 with tank treads. Skynet designed it to hunt humans hiding in tunnels or other confined spaces where conventional hunter-killers couldn't reach. Despite its formidable firepower, these units were known for their reckless tactic of charging head-on, often falling into resistance-prepared traps. This model also appears in the Terminator collectible card game. In the Rise of the Machines timeline, the T850 stands out as an improved version of the T800 with a titanium endoskeleton and 2 hydrogen fuel cells that grant it greater power and endurance. This model can withstand more intense plasma blasts and includes subroutines for human psychology, enhancing its infiltration capabilities. Still, its Model 101 appearance retains the iconic essence of the Terminator we all know. Following the logic of continued refinement, the T860, nicknamed Punisher in the Future War universe of the mobile game, is an upgraded version of the T810. It is considered an infantry model with heavier weaponry and better armor, designed to eliminate high-priority targets with extreme efficiency. Its primary role is to harass medium and long-range targets using explosives and powerful plasma cannons. Later on, the T882, also known as the Advanced Tactical Command Unit, serves as a field general for Skynet's forces. It features an innovative triple-core CPU that allows it to make complex strategic decisions in real time and coordinate other units even under communication interference. It is one of the rarest and most sophisticated models in the 800 series, featured in the collectible card game. In the same Future War line, the T883, also referred to as Reaper in some documents, is a step above in terms of firepower and durability, considered elite infantry. It employs higher caliber plasma weapons and retains the tactical adaptability of the T882, but is more focused on direct battlefield annihilation roles. On the other hand, the T888 series, popularized in the Sarah Connor Chronicles, represents a highly advanced variant of the 800 series in terms of speed, strength, and infiltration capabilities. It features a reinforced endoskeleton with additional backplating and retractable thigh blades, along with extremely advanced behavioral programming for blending in among humans. T888s are notoriously difficult to destroy. They can withstand high-caliber gunfire and are capable of acting independently with notable cunning. Finally, the T897 is classified as an improvement over the T883, scaling up to an even higher-level infantry unit. With reinforced armor and dual plasma artillery, it is a fearsome opponent against fortified positions and resistance vehicles. Although less known in the main canon, this model has appeared in references from games and Genesis Universe expansions, completing the extensive lineup of variants that originated from the legendary T800. With these models, the 800 series demonstrated Skynet's flexibility and creative drive. In its relentless pursuit to eradicate humanity, it implemented a vast array of enhancements and adaptations to cover every combat scenario, from infiltration in direct combat to tactical leadership and special operations. And without a doubt, the T800 was the cornerstone that made all of these variants possible. But even then, there was still room for improvement, which is why Skynet continued its evolution by creating the T900 series in the timeline of Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. This model represented a significant qualitative leap over the earlier T800 and T850 models. Introduced around the year 2032, the T900 is known for its drastically enhanced durability, thanks to its reinforced hyperalloy armor and a miniature fusion reactor that emits a distinctive internal glow, which can vary in color: blue, red, green, or yellow, depending on the specific variant. The T900s were designed as ultra-resistant infantry units with double the capabilities of their predecessors. They were also specialized in fighting the growing threat of reprogrammed Terminators used by the Resistance. Hence, they became known as the first AntiTerminators. Among its variants, the green T900 was the most common and easiest to destroy. The yellow T900 featured dual weapon systems and was considerably tougher. And the red T900 was extremely difficult to destroy, equipped with powerful cannons. Additional versions included the T900 Heavy, which was more robust and slower, but carried heavier weaponry, and the T900 Infiltrator, covered in living tissue to approach human targets stealthily. Parallel to this, in the timeline shown in the Sarah Connor Chronicles, Skynet developed a special version of the T900 represented by the Cameron unit. This model focused on extremely refined infiltration, made possible through advanced software, which even allowed it to believe it was human. Its endoskeleton, although similar to the T888, was smaller and more refined, built from hyperalloy and coltan, providing high resistance and agility. Among its unique features was its ability to feel similarly to humans, capable of experiencing physical sensations such as temperature changes, wind, or even pleasure. It also possessed advanced functions like the ability to consume food, although it's unclear what it did with it, and scanned vital biomarkers by simply touching a person, analyzing their stress levels or health in real time. This special variant was shown to be capable of defeating T-888 units in direct combat and demonstrated an exceptional infiltration ability, mimicking human emotions so convincingly that it could cry or express fear. Finally, Skynet developed the T950 series, conceived as a technological bridge between the T900 and the advanced TX model. The T950 is a formidable machine that combines traditional living tissue with specific parts covered in mimetic polyalloy, allowing its arms to reconfigure into integrated and versatile weapons. Thus, the T950 fused the high-level infiltration skills of the T900 with the flexible lethality of the TX. The T950 possessed extreme durability, capable of withstanding severe plasma fire or being run over by heavy vehicles. It also demonstrated advanced features like enhanced resistance to electromagnetic attacks and the ability to recover through internal processes like CPU defragmentation after taking serious damage. Although limited in that it could not fully reshape its face or body, this unit was a major step forward toward the future liquid metal models, clearly showcasing Skynet's ongoing evolution in its quest to perfect the ultimate war machine. This variant appears in the comic Terminator 3 Fragmented. Following the sophisticated technological evolution of the T950, Skynet reached a new pinnacle with the creation of the powerful TX model, also known as the Terminatrix, seen in the film Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. This version represents an exceptional hybrid, combining the best aspects of two previous models: the advanced and durable endoskeleton derived from the T900, coated with a flexible ceramic layer reinforced with carbon nanotube fibers and titanium, and covered by an outer layer of mimetic polyalloy. The TX was created specifically as a unit designed to hunt and eliminate other Terminators that had been reprogrammed by the human resistance. Equipped with a miniaturized plasma reactor that powers its tremendous combat capabilities, its physical resilience far surpasses that of earlier models, able to withstand extreme impacts, intense fire, explosions, and even vehicular collisions without sustaining significant permanent damage. Its versatility lies especially in its unique infiltration abilities and highly advanced internal weaponry. Its joints, lubricated with synthetic liquid steel, allow for rotations impossible in previous models, including 360-degree neck turns and 180-degree torso twists. Physically, it can crush human bones with ease, using a reinforced steel jaw with alloy teeth capable of slicing through solid titanium. One of the TX's most striking features is its integrated weapon system. Beneath its mimetic polyalloy exterior, specifically in its arms, it stores a highly diverse and lethal internal arsenal. These include the plasma cannon. The primary weapon is exceptionally powerful, capable of obliterating armored vehicles or even small buildings with a single shot. For close-quarters combat, it features the IAD Chemtech, a built-in flamethrower ideal for incinerating targets in confined spaces. It also carries a nanotechnological transjector, which enables the TX to remotely hack and control other electronic systems, such as T1 units, expanding its dominance on the battlefield. Additionally, it possesses a retractable circular saw, a devastating melee weapon highly effective in a range of tactical situations. As if that weren't enough, the TX features automatic self-repair, enabling it to modify or fix its internal weapons if they are damaged during battle. On the sensory level, the TX is equipped with cutting-edge biometric identification technology, including infrared scanning, facial recognition, retinal reading, and even instant DNA analysis from small blood samples. This allows it to locate targets with surgical precision, identify them, and classify them in real time. In terms of communication, the TX can wirelessly connect to computers and databases, emitting sonic tones from its vocal processor. It can also transmit radio signals and access Skynet's network maps in real time, displaying them on its internal HUD. Surprisingly, the TX exhibits far more realistic simulated emotional behavior than any previous model. It has been seen expressing frustration, satisfaction, surprise, and even fear during combat, alongside sophisticated facial gestures and convincing micro-expressions, making it particularly effective during infiltration missions. It also naturally exhibits feminine behaviors, increasing its ability to blend in among humans unnoticed. Although the TX has extraordinary resilience, it is not without vulnerabilities. Extremely strong magnetic fields, such as those generated by a particle accelerator, can temporarily immobilize it. Furthermore, while its mimetic polyalloy coating grants excellent infiltration abilities, it lacks the realism of living tissue, unable to simulate human traits like sweating or bleeding, which slightly reduces its long-term effectiveness. Known TX units include the one seen in Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines, and another named Eliza, who appears in the 2004 novel Terminator Hunt. Following the technological evolution demonstrated by the TX model, Skynet developed a prototype that, in my opinion, is the most iconic of the entire franchise. Of course, I'm talking about the T1000, an extraordinary leap in infiltration and combat technology. The T1000 is an advanced prototype, fully autonomous and composed entirely of liquid metal known as mimetic polyalloy. Unlike previous models with rigid metal endoskeletons, the T1000 has no solid structure, allowing it to morph easily and replicate any person or object of similar size it has touched. While it cannot mimic complex mechanical objects or firearms, it can create simple melee weapons like blades or hooks from its limbs. Thanks to its liquid nature, the T1000 possesses near limitless regeneration, quickly recovering from ballistic or explosive damage. However, it is vulnerable to extreme temperatures. It can be temporarily frozen with liquid nitrogen or permanently destroyed by intense heat. It is also notably susceptible to concentrated corrosive agents, such as hydrochloric acid. Among its unique abilities is the power to separate small portions of itself to perform independent tasks or track targets. This model appears across multiple timelines and media. A more advanced variant of the T1000 is the T1001, which can voluntarily split into multiple independent units operating autonomously. This model has superior infiltration abilities and is even more deadly, capable of executing simultaneous attacks. A notable example is the unit known as Catherine Weaver from the series Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles, who demonstrated sophisticated skills in human interaction, corporate management, and protecting a secret project designed to oppose Skynet. The T1001 can also take non-human forms, move quickly in liquid form, and separate into multiple components. Furthermore, it exhibits a more advanced simulated emotional capacity than previous models. Next in line is the T1002, another improvement on the T1000, specifically designed for heavy combat. The T1002 can deploy sharp weapons from any part of its body, showcasing finer control over its molecular structure, and can fully transform into piercing or defensive weapon forms. However, despite being extremely lethal, the T1002 can be destroyed by highly advanced plasma weapons, as demonstrated in its confrontation with the TX model. Finally, Skynet developed the experimental autonomous Terminator, known as the TXA, which is not a variant of the TX, but rather of the T1000. Like its predecessors, it is composed entirely of mimetic polyalloy, but it possesses far greater strength and durability. It can divide itself into multiple units of various sizes and forms, including several humans, small animals, or even entire groups, to infiltrate effectively. The TXA can also directly influence humans by injecting microscopic fragments of itself into the nervous systems of its victims, manipulating their minds to ensure compliance. This allows it not only to kill, but also to strategically control key individuals to achieve long-term objectives. Moreover, it is nearly invulnerable to conventional weapons, capable of withstanding even sustained heavy plasma fire. Destroying a TXA is extremely difficult and requires prolonged attacks using highly advanced weaponry. These units appear in the book series Terminator 2, the new John Connor Chronicles, though no visual representation of this model currently exists in any media. Continuing with Skynet's use of mimetic polyalloy, we encounter the impressive T-1000, also known as t-meg, an advanced Sentinel unit specifically designed to defend Skynet's core installations. The T-1000 is a gigantic hunter unit that takes the form of a massive metallic spider. Built entirely from the mimetic polyalloy, it shares the regenerative and adaptive abilities of the T-1000, although its role is significantly different. Unlike previous humanoid infiltrators, the T-1000 specializes in structural defense and large-scale combat. This metallic spider operates using ambush tactics. When it detects a threat, it quickly abandons its architectural camouflage to assume its combat form, brutally neutralizing any intruders. One of the most well-known units appeared in the interactive attraction of Terminator 2 3D, Battle Across Time, where it was destroyed along with Skynet's central core thanks to the intervention of a reprogrammed T-800. Another unit appeared briefly in the comic Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Nuclear Twilight Warchild. A third unit appears in the RPG adventure Valley of Metal from the Terminator 2 role-playing game. Continuing with the line of experimental and specialized units created by Skynet, we encounter a peculiar model, the T2018, also known as the Deadly Snowman or Cruel Frosty. This unit takes on the unexpected and seemingly innocent form of a snowman. It is a humanoid hunter-killer model whose outer shell resembles a traditional holiday snowman, complete with a carrot nose, red scarf, and coal eyes. Despite its comic and harmless appearance, it conceals a dangerous and lethal endoskeleton armed with a powerful plasma machine gun. Its outer layer is composed of artificial snow generated by Skynet through a combination of extremely low temperatures, water, and specific chemicals, allowing this snowy coating to regenerate continuously. It lacks bipedal legs, remaining in a fixed position atop the accumulated snow at its base, which limits its movement to torso, head, and arms. Inside, it contains an unspecified model of endoskeleton, although it is visibly incomplete from the waist down. Nevertheless, the T2018 is not designed for a specific tactical function. Its true purpose is far more sinister. It serves as a macabre and psychological mockery of the human resistance, showing that Skynet has a twisted and cruel sense of humor by turning a familiar holiday symbol into a deadly machine. This unit debuted during the 2018 Winter Special event in the mobile video game Terminator Genesis Future War, where players could destroy it to earn rewards and materials. Continuing with Skynet's technological evolution, we reach its most terrifying model to date, the T3000, a machine that takes infiltration and lethality to an entirely new level. Unlike any other Terminator seen before, The T3000 is not made of solid or liquid metal, but of a completely new material, machine phase matter, capable of infecting and transforming a human body from the inside out, reconstructing every cell and turning it into an almost invincible creature. Near the end of the war against humanity, Skynet developed a horrifying experiment, transforming living humans into deadly weapons through infection with this type of nanomachine. Once infected, the Manites rewrite the subject's DNA, converting the entire body into a mass of millions of robotic nanocells. This experimental process was fatal for every subject, except one, John Connor. The leader of the human resistance tragically became the first and only known successful T3000. This new model is entirely composed of nanomachines, held together by a powerful internal magnetic field, and it possesses extraordinary physical strength, surpassing even T800 units. It has greater speed and reflexes than any previous model, and can morph its limbs into cutting or piercing weapons. It also has the terrifying ability to dissolve temporarily into a metallic mist, allowing it to move quickly and pass through solid objects, giving it a massive tactical advantage. In this way, it can regenerate instantly after sustaining damage, even faster than the T1000. However, this is not easy to accomplish, since it is highly resistant to conventional physical damage. Bullets, explosions, and direct hits have little to no effect on it. One of the most frightening traits of the T3000 is that it retains the memories, personality, and even some emotions of the original human host. This makes it an extremely effective infiltrator and manipulator, as demonstrated when the T3000 with John Connor's face deceived his former allies. Despite its near invulnerability, the T3000 does have a critical weakness. Because it relies on an internal magnetic field to maintain its structure, it can be temporarily disrupted by strong external magnetic fields. Devices such as MRI machines or specialized magnetic weaponry can temporarily disperse its matter. As shown at the end of Terminator Genesis, an extremely powerful magnetic field, like the one generated by a time displacement device, can destroy the T3000 permanently by scattering its nanomachines beyond recovery. Now moving on to Skynet's most enigmatic and dangerous creation, we arrive at the T5000, also known as Alex. This model represents the culmination of Skynet's evolution, as it is not only an extremely advanced machine, but also the physical vessel of Skynet itself. In other words, the T5000 is the embodiment of Skynet's central consciousness. The T5000 is not just another Terminator. Its existence marks a critical turning point, as Skynet transferred its entire digital consciousness into a physical unit. This allowed it to move freely in the real world, directly infecting key humans in the conflict, most notably John Connor. This model has unmatched infiltration capabilities, managing to infiltrate elite resistance units without raising any suspicion. It's immune to traditional detection methods, including dogs trained to detect Terminators, since it emits no scent or detectable signals. In addition to its physical form, the T5000 can manifest through ionized particles in the air, forming holographic projections that allow it to communicate and operate without exposing its physical body. Although its full combat capabilities haven't been thoroughly shown, it is known that the T5000 is immensely powerful, capable of eliminating an entire elite soldier unit with ease, suggesting superior strength and speed to any Terminator known before. As of now, no explicit weaknesses have been identified, making it one of the most dangerous and difficult Skynet creations to face. However, it is assumed that its vulnerabilities are similar to those of the T3000. We now arrive at one of the most imposing and powerful Terminators of the T-Series ever created by Skynet, the T8000. This machine is a special model developed by Skynet in the alternate timeline of Transformers vs. the Terminator, using technology partially obtained from the Cybertronians, the legendary alien machines from the Transformers universe. This integration makes the T8000 a technologically advanced hybrid designed to be the ultimate ground combat force, combining both Terminator and Cybertronian traits. In this storyline, Skynet built the T8000 at Omega Base, a secret facility beneath the ruins of Big Jeff's restaurant. Just before the original T800 could time travel to 1984 to begin its mission, the base was attacked by Decepticons, specifically the Seekers and Insecticons. In this initial clash, a T8000 managed to strike the powerful Skywarp, but was quickly destroyed by a single blast from the Decepticon's null ray. However, after a major twist in the timeline caused by the intervention of the T800, which led to the death of the Decepticon later Megatron, Skynet integrated recovered Cybertronian tech from Megatron's corpse, giving birth to a new generation of T8000 models. This Terminator is significantly larger and more robust than any standard model, specifically designed for large-scale combat against superior threats like the Transformers. It is equipped with advanced weaponry far beyond standard models and possesses immense physical strength, capable of going toe-to-toe with Cybertronians in hand-to-hand combat. Its armor is considerably more resistant, as the T8000's final design adopts visual and functional elements taken directly from Megatron, particularly noticeable in its head and body armor. One of the most enigmatic models ever created by Skynet is the T-Infinity, also known as the Temporal Terminator. This prototype was not simply designed to exterminate humans, but rather for a much more terrifying mission: to correct anomalies in the timeline that could endanger Skynet's plans. Unlike other models, the T-Infinity comes with integrated time displacement capabilities, allowing it to travel through time on its own. Its mission is to ensure history unfolds in a way that benefits Skynet, eliminating any critical deviation, whether caused by humans, malfunctioning Terminators, or even alternate versions of John and Sarah Connor. This model appears exclusively in the expanded universe, specifically in the 2005 comic Terminator 2 Infinity and its 2009 sequel Terminator Revolution, where it becomes a persistent threat to the Connors. It is also referenced under the name T-Mobius in the Terminator RPG. In these stories, the T-Infinity is dispatched from the year 2033 to prevent John Connor from becoming the leader of the Resistance, but a system failure causes it to shift its target to Sarah Connor, chasing her into the year 1996 and clashing with multiple T-850 units in the process. The T-Infinity is built on technology similar to the X-Series and has a body partially composed of liquid metal, allowing it to reconfigure its arms into various weapons: plasma cannons, energy machine guns, blades, and even an energy sword capable of slicing a T-800 or TX in half. Unlike the TX, it can deploy multiple weapons simultaneously, shooting at several targets while defending itself with a force field. This shield protects its most vulnerable areas: neck, armpits, back, and joints, and is so powerful it can vaporize T-800 alloy on contact. However, it only activates when the unit is powered on. Additionally, the T-Infinity features thermal sensors that allow it to detect enemies hiding behind solid structures, and thanks to its time module, it can visualize recent past events, giving it a tactical tracking advantage. In close combat, it is brutally efficient. Its physical strength far surpasses that of a T-800, and it can keep fighting even after losing an arm or being hit by direct explosions. It's been seen destroying up to 8 T-800s with minimal damage. Though extremely powerful, the T-Infinity is not invulnerable. Its translocation abilities only work if it anticipates the attack, making it vulnerable to ambushes or indirect strikes. It can also be affected by electromagnetic pulses, which temporarily weaken its force field and leave it exposed. In one of its most memorable appearances, John Connor managed to seriously damage it using a rocket launcher while it wasn't looking. At the end, a dire wolf, a wolf-shaped Terminator designed to hunt the T-Infinity, ultimately destroyed it by ripping off its head. Finally, we come to the innovative TH model, also known as the Hybrid, a terrifying combination of flesh and metal that we explored in depth in a dedicated video. This model is a cybernetic organism resulting from the transformation of a human into a perfect fusion between man and machine. It was initially developed by Cyberdyne Systems' Genetics division under the name Project Angel, and later resumed and perfected by Skynet under the name Project Theta. The first successful phase of Project Theta was the creation of the hybrid known as Marcus Wright, who initially donated his body for experimentation after being executed. Marcus was turned into a cybernetic organism with a customized metal endoskeleton, while preserving important human elements such as his brain, heart, and other vital organs. Marcus's initial objective was to infiltrate the Resistance, lure John Connor to Skynet, and convert him into another hybrid under its control. However, Marcus retained enough humanity to resist the mental control imposed by Skynet, eventually genuinely siding with the resistance. This was possible because Marcus retained his memories, emotions, and identity, allowing him and other models to infiltrate the resistance naturally, blending in perfectly with other survivors. It's important to note, however, that these parameters are subconsciously programmed, meaning even the hybrids themselves are unaware of Skynet's hidden mission embedded in their minds. These models do feel pain, but not like normal people. They experience pain only at the moment of injury, without the prolonged suffering a regular human would endure. Furthermore, their physical endurance is much higher, and their organic tissue has improved regenerative capabilities, allowing them to recover even from severe damage. However, this retained humanity is also their greatest weakness. By keeping vital organs like the heart and brain, they become vulnerable to targeted attacks. A direct hit to the heart can send them into hibernation, and destroying the brain means permanent death. Their metal endoskeleton, likely made of steel alloy, makes them incredibly resistant to explosions, impacts, and even extreme heat. Unlike other models like the T800, hybrids can swim thanks to a design that closely mimics human anatomy and prevents them from sinking like conventional machines. In addition, they are connected to Skynet through a neural chip that allows full remote control. Although, as we saw with Marcus Wright, not all hybrids are willing to obey. Among the most well-known hybrids besides Marcus are Serena Kogan, the scientist who practically created the entire project; Jick, a hybrid who believed he was John Connor due to implanted memories from Skynet. Others like Nathan Oxley and Susan Valentine used in infiltration operations with varying degrees of success. Fun fact, hybrids were meant to be the central focus of the original Terminator Salvation script, but after the script leaked and received negative feedback, many elements were changed or cut. However, the novel Trial by Fire picked up that idea and expanded it, revealing that Skynet had created many more hybrids as part of a much larger strategy of manipulation and control. One of the most fascinating aspects of the TH model is that it doesn't possess a visual interface like other Terminators. There's no HUD or visible artificial analysis systems. Everything it perceives is interpreted as a human would. And so after this fascinating journey through decades of technological evolution, we reach the end of our exploration of all the known T-Series models created by Skynet. From primitive units like the T1 to giants like the T8000, iconic infiltrators like the T800, and terrifying liquid metal monsters like the t-meg, Skynet has done nothing but perfect its obsession with eradicating humanity. In the end, all of these models reveal something chilling and undeniable: Skynet's relentless determination to destroy all human resistance, using every technological innovation as one more step toward our extinction. Well, thank you for joining me on this journey as I tried to cover every known T-Series model. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on my upcoming content. Hey, don't go just yet. If you enjoyed my video, I'd love to recommend another one for you to watch.